for.
That's true. It started, so too late.
Oh.
Couldn't stop it even if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, not physically there.
This is how we.
No, unplug it. Hold on. Let me find the show notes. I think I added to the show notes.
But I had my 4 points down perfectly.
No,
Oh, God.
I mean, it really is a quick show. You're not winning. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't be. We're playing with toy soldiers. Like, there is no such thing as celebrity.
Seriously. Don't get intimidated by somebody else who's just as big of a nerd as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. For some reason, I have issues. You click on Twitch on my iPad.
On Twitch?
Well, because I watch, because I can't. I'm not at the desk with you, so I can't see the
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
the comments or whatever. So, and plus I pump up our numbers.
Cheater. Sock puppeting on Twitch, huh?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Isn't that what everybody does?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm assuming that's what everybody does. Everybody does it.
Well, if everyone does it, we have to be cool.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
We can't not be cool. What will people think of us?
Seriously, right?
Yeah, we're the cool judges, right?
Yeah.
If that can be a thing.
Definitely cooler than Morgan.
Wow, that's on record. You know we're recording, right, Dan?
That's a joke.
I don't think
Just
he, I also don't think he cares.
I'm sure he's.
Although, Thomas Hickstrom Oakley, yeah, that guy.
Wow.
Now that we're on the record.
I told someone one time, Danny, that because John, you'll like it, because a couple of people I was talking to didn't really get the show at first.
Right.
But once they got used to your saltiness and your snark, they actually enjoy the show a lot.
Yeah, I'm an acquired taste, just like salt.
Oh God. And
salt is not an acquired taste. It's like one of the basics. It's literally one of the basics of cooking.
How dare you call me basic?
You are.
Yeah. Wow.
How dare you?
If people didn't know your religion, John, you'd be the definition of a wasp.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Talking about basic definition.
Yikes.
You're the basic.
TFG radio.
You're the basic.
Just trash talks each other.
But one of them did say that the part where they like kind of got it was or enjoyed the most was the tinfoil hat Eldar conspiracy.
That was one of my best rants ever.
Yeah,
It was high quality.
It was amazing.
I mean, you know, Alex Jones level.
Yes, that was what I was going for. And the comments we got back proved that I hit the mark.
Yes, yes.
I'm okay with that.
That's okay.
It was my goal. I wanted people to think that I should literally fashion a tinfoil hat for myself, and that's exactly what happened.
It's because you do have one.
I don't, but it's fine.
Yeah, you do. We're going with that narrative.
I forgot to put the fan fiction meme in my memes.
Oh,
just for Tom. Totally forgot.
But for Danny, I told someone they couldn't really tell who was who in between Danny and Tom at first.
Oh God, that really hurts.
I said no, it's really easy because Tom is the one we make fun of a lot, and Danny I don't make fun of because I'm actually scared of him.
That is the correct answer.
I didn't tell them why either. They just laughed. But I was like,
That's
no,
funny.
there's a reason why.
Well, the thing is, the joke of it is always like, you know, Adam's the face, John's the salty one, and I'm the always professional, polite one who is actually most likely to punch you in the jaw.
Well, it's like the Simpsons episode where it's the quiet. Remember the Simpsons with the mafia against the
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to see what that one guy does.
That's right. That's pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah, when you hear the noise in the background, he's like, "Oh, he knows he's gonna do something cool." I don't know where I put the fucking show notes.
I just found him in the chat in the time that you were bullshitting and not doing anything.
Oh well,
Here, I'll share him in the chat again right now. So I'll share your own notes in your own chat.
Shut up.
Fucking incompetent.
TFG Radio. We are professionals.
Adam's the only one that holds us back.
Yeah,
I think
'cause
Adam's
we need
show.
I agree with both those comments because they are both accurate and they're both true.
Simultaneously holding us back, yet the only thing keeping us together.
I approve this message.
Axis of Entropy. This is just the intro, which is probably my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, we're just screwing around right now, Axis. Sorry.
Did you share? Because I'm not even on Facebook, so if you share it with me, I haven't even seen it yet.
God damn it, man.
Because I'm still stubbornly looking for it.
You're like one step away from being John Cook over there.
Leave Viejo alone, man. Come on.
You know why I couldn't find it? Because I was looking under the shared with me part of it, not the part
It's
where
yours. It's not
I know.
shared with you.
I know.
You are not old enough to have this many technology problems. I'm just saying right now.
I'm getting there, though. I already know. I'm getting there.
You're killing him, John. You're killing him. Listen to that cough.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Killing me small. Such a all right.
Okay, ready?
All right, I guess we're sure.
3, 2, 1. You're live, Adam.
Haven't we been live?
Everybody, Adam here. As you can see, we're once again on Discord. We're actually having a show this time due to the torrential biblical rains we've been having
In California, at least.
in
For
California.
For
In
California.
Southern California. To us, there's actually flooding in there's water in my house that is not
Supposed
wanted.
to be there.
It's not supposed to be there.
Mine
It's supposed
too.
to be kept outside. Same with John. Danny had his issue last year.
Yeah, that was fun.
So,
Yeah.
so let's needless to say, I'm very excited for LVO for multiple reasons. In addition to not being in the rain.
Getting out of the house.
Yes,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
Um,
A million times yes. It's all that's been keeping me going the past 6 weeks. It's like I get 4 days without having to hear a screaming child.
yeah, well. So I guess we'll start with LVO since it's only literally 2 days away.
I know, it's crazy. I was just thinking about that today. I was like, oh man, I'm going to be on the road in a couple of days.
Yeah.
To Vegas. It's good times.
We're all driving together with my brother, who apparently has designated himself the official photographer for the TFG radio.
Well,
Better get my good side.
we need one, so that's fine because none of us are going to do it.
We won't have the... so he'll be around taking pictures.
Shut up, Alan. God damn it, Alan. He said, I hope you guys are not hoping for a level of professionalism.
So I never said he was a professional photographer. Just a guy with a camera.
I think he was talking about us in our
us.
show.
Oh, he's
Can't it be both and?
It's and yeah. For sure.
¿Por qué no dos?
So it's been fairly busy for us, as many people probably know. I think we've got most of the emails, as far as we know, regarding conversions and some.
Yeah. All the ones that we were on, we've caught up with. So if you have an outstanding email, you can blame somebody else.
For once, it's not our fault.
For once, it's not our fault.
Luckily, in terms of the lists are live at this point.
Yes. There they are.
So people are able to find out if there's anything wrong with their list, because the BCP was not validating lists; they're just validating format and making sure things are in their proper place. Not necessarily that a list was legal or not.
Yes, correct. You need to make sure your own list is legal. That's your responsibility.
Although, I don't know about you guys. I did find a few that I had to email people of basic edition fail, dude.
I mean, sure,
It's like 5 points
if I
over.
happen to see it, I will let the person know, but I'm not going to sit there and check 800 lists.
No, I know of at least one person that's more or less doing that.
Hey, that's good for him.
Well,
or her, whatever.
No, it's the stats guy, Peter
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
from Chapter Tactics.
I mean, that makes sense. That's
Who had
his
a-
shtick.
Yeah, who had a very good show, and that's 40K. He also has the website 40kstats.com if anyone's interested.
Mm-hmm.
You can also he's also on Chapter Tactics. Um, in regards to that, they had an episode recently about basically the stats of LVO, so check them out if you're interested. As far for us, we'll be there on Thursday. Do we know what time? We should be there before like 5 or 6.
I mean, you know what time we're leaving. I'm just Danny's picking me up, and then we're getting to you, and then it's up to you guys. It's not on my hands.
So assuming you're actually ready.
Me?
John will
No,
be
not
ready.
you.
I will absolutely
John.
100% be waiting like at the door.
I'm talking about
For you to pull up.
John Boy. John
He'll be ready.
Solis.
Okay.
No, but both of us have issues with being on time in that we don't like being late for things
Okay.
like this. So we'll be ready. I told him to pick me up at 10. He's picking me up at 10, if not a little earlier, and I'll be ready for then.
Well, that's good.
So, so if you're at LVO, come by the judges table.
Mm-hmm.
See if just come say hi to us. We'll be wearing purple shirts.
Yes, with the neon green Las Vegas Open logo that's up on the screen, right above my head, floating around.
Yeah, and I'll say judge on the back. You can't miss us.
Yeah, you will miss this for sure.
I'll probably be me and Danny will probably be easier to spot because we'll be the non-white guys.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I was thinking, like, you're not tall.
Right. No. Yeah, because I'm not white. My brother's tall. He's a tall brown guy.
He's the
He won't
anomaly.
have-
He won't have the
he's the
judge
anomaly.
shirt, though, right?
Oh yeah.
What, you're like what, 5'6", Adam? 5'7"?
No, I'm 5'9", which is probably pretty
5'9"?
tall.
That makes you tall for a Mexican. It's all right.
Yes. my brother's 5'11", I think.
You people, you're also petty and tiny.
Yes. And his wife is tall also, and their oldest child is like 10 feet tall, and he's only like 6 years old. He's very good at basketball apparently at this age. So, but
No, I was two until 14.
yeah, until everybody caught up to you.
When you stopped
Yeah.
growing and everybody kept growing.
Yeah, when you're like 6 foot at 14, it's like, or 13, you're like a god at basketball, but then 14, all the tall kids are suddenly 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
And you're like, oh damn, I should have learned to shoot and dribble. Not just be the big man on the inside.
Yeah, he is the big man on the inside right now. So hopefully, I'll leave that up to my brother to teach him to work out the outside game,
Yeah,
shooting and dribbling.
Nice.
just
But,
send him talk to me. You can be the old grizzled veteran. Be like, learn from my mistakes, youngin.
Yeah, I know, right? So we will have. What will we have? So we'll have the GW preview, which I'm sure everybody's excited about. I don't know if we're gonna go, but
We should go.
Yeah, we also
Well,
have
we have
that other
other
meeting, too. We have other
other
things we have to do, yeah.
obligations.
You guys can do that. I want to go to the GW show just so I can ask annoying questions.
Cool.
Okay, sure.
I did that last year, so.
Yeah, I want to ask them if they're ever going to come out with the app again,
Oh, I know.
Oh, the list app?
the list building app.
Yeah.
So when they
I
point
had
to
this last year.
so when they point to the one online, I can go, no, really, when are you going to come out with the real list building app? Ask them that for me, Danny.
I have to ask about a Tyranid Lord of War, like an actual one in our codex.
They'll just pawn that off the Forge World, and they'll say,
And then
"Oh,
I'll-
we don't do that."
Well, I'll counter with, the Forge World sucks, so
No, you
yeah.
counter with
Wow.
deal, but hire me to write the rules.
I would do it just for free model.
I would do it for resin.
Yep,
I will happily write all your 40K rules for resin.
exactly.
But going into LVO, any other? I think we're all set at our end anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's too much for us to.
we definitely have the easier job in that world.
Yes, we're not helping Reese pack everything up in the trucks.
Yeah, no.
Well, I couldn't anyway. I have a weight restriction.
Right. I would love to be down in San Diego so I could play in that league that they have at that Addy's Games because that league seems freaking amazing. But I'm also glad I don't live in San Diego because I would get roped into like helping paint terrain and build terrain and load terrain. And I love you, Reese, but I don't want to do that.
I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Here we go. So expectations for LVO real quick for us.
Oh, is for us?
For us.
I thought the show notes was about other people's.
No, that's part of it. This is the okay. God damn it, John. This is the part that segues into it. We start with us.
Well, you got to put in the show notes that there's a segue. If I don't see the word segue, I don't know what's going on.
Oh my god, I know how my wife feels when she talks to me. Okay, so we'll start with John just for that.
My expectations.
Yeah.
Let's see. My expectations are that everything runs smoothly.
I think that's all of us. But anything in terms of,
I don't think there's going to be like I think a lot of people are anticipating that because of the code of conduct that we'd like throw out hundreds of people, and that's not going to happen.
No,
it's just not going to happen. It's not realistic.
Well, we're not going to throw out.
I don't think that there'll be. I think that there won't be any major controversies because of like early list submission, the code of conduct, the way the top 8 is being run. Like, I don't think that like we're not going to have a case of like this person missed out on top 8 when they shouldn't have.
Right.
Because we fixed that way ahead of time. Like we did so much planning and pre stuff for this. I think that it'll run pretty well. I think that there's a chance because of the size of the event that we might end up with some crazy dark horse in the top 8.
Oh yeah.
I talked about in my article last weekend about how I think that maybe that's not as likely because of when you get to the certain when you get to the round 6, it's going to be you as dark horse versus like the best players in the world.
Yeah, I didn't read your article.
Because I know you don't. Because there's so many of the best players in the world at this event. Like your chance of dodging them it gets lower and lower every round.
Right, but
the average player does not have what it takes to beat one of the top players in the world no matter what. Like you just don't. Like the average player does not have what it takes to beat unless one of the top players takes a terrible list or makes huge mistakes because they think it's going to be a blowover, but at LVO people don't make those kind of mistakes. They just don't.
Well, people do.
Not like the big top players don't make those kind of mistakes.
Well, that's why they're top players.
It hinges on like these tiny little mistakes,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But we usually get someone. Like last year, we got Mark Wright, and that's because he didn't face an Eldar player going until the top 8. I mean, the year before we had the Necron player during 7th edition.
That's right.
That made it, and his literal comment was like, "I don't know how I got here.
What am I doing here?"
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be a little harder to pull off thanks to round 7.
Yes. Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
It's going to be real hard to just totally duck your way into Sunday.
Although because most tournaments don't do a 4th round in one day, you might get that mistake by a top player or someone of that caliber
in that special round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
people didn't play War Machine.
No, only yeah.
Yeah, not many of the top 40K players played War Machine.
So, but and that's an area where that can, and I've played in. I mean, this was years ago, but I've played in GW GTs where they did 4 on one day, 2 on this. It was 4 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
Yeah, I remember.
So that, and the best tournament, my best showing. I remember that 4th game, and it was against a Tyranid player, and we were both like loopy at the end of that day. It was crazy, and that was we started earlier, and the round times weren't as long, but it was still like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. When we finished.
Yeah, that's late.
So things like that, I think, that extra round, if we do it, may factor in on how somebody may sneak into the top 8, and I'm curious how that would affect their performance on Sunday. That's almost the NFL equivalent of getting that bye.
Yeah, I suppose.
Is it better to get the bye, or is it better to have that mindset going?
I don't know. I'm always one of those people who thinks the bye is not good because you get lazy Fat.
Look at those guys playing that extra game. I'm gonna walk all over them tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
But then,
I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get sleep.
yeah, well, there's also people that
Wake up,
function
eat 17
better.
pancakes, and have a stomach ache the whole first round. And that guy doesn't have anything in his stomach because he didn't go to bed till 4 in the morning.
Well, plus the pub crawlers on Saturday, so
Yes.
there's that.
I'm doing that for sure.
You and your pub crawl.
I haven't decided.
What do you mean? I've never done it before. How's it me and my pub crawl?
Yeah, I'm just being a jackass.
We've been talking about this whole time.
Well, because I'm excited because I'm going to do it for once.
But well, the other thing is, does some people are able to function like Nick Natabate? We all know he can play drunk.
We know that?
I've seen it.
Nice. I didn't know that.
I've seen it. I saw it at Nova.
Oh, nice.
You know, and but kind of at other events, there's some people that can play, maybe not drunk, but they can. Some people can function with little to no sleep.
Right.
Like I don't need to be. I mean, I think Danny's the same way. Where I don't need a full 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
Nope.
You know, I can get by maybe 4 or 5 days, but I need at least that Saturday or Sunday or that 6th or 7th day to at least get one day of a good amount of sleep. But I can go most of the work week getting only a few hours.
Yeah, I routinely only get 5.5 hours, 6 hours of sleep at the most.
Yeah, we were both up late at night playing PUBG.
Whatever. Or painting models or whatever. Anything except for reading a book, apparently.
Yes. So I think that might factor in it, especially who makes or who has to play that extra round.
Yeah.
For Danny, go ahead. If any other than a smooth game, because I think that's what everybody wants. Smooth weekend without certain people looking at certain things on the internet, crashing the system.
I don't know what you're referring to.
So
I don't understand that reference. I'm the opposite of Captain America.
Right.
I don't get that reference.
Sure. Anyway, I think things will be fine. I mean, if history is any indication, we'll have one BCP hiccup that will stress us out for about 10 minutes and then be like, oh, it's fine.
Or 30 minutes like last year's.
Yeah, well, fair. I think we'll inevitably see some kind of, I'm anticipating day one's going to be pretty smooth. A lot of newer players asking a lot of kind of basic questions who just aren't used to playing outside of,
outside of the area.
Yeah, outside of their circle of friends. And then I think day two is where we'll start to probably have the most annoying questions like we usually do of just people getting bitchy.
Right.
Who, usually people who are, 3-0, 4-0, right? Who are in the hunt, but don't quite realize that just because you go 4-0 doesn't mean you're like, oh man, you have a legitimate shot, because the probability is you played mostly against really non-competitive players, right? It's round 5, round 6, and now the new round 7, where it's that's where you're getting into the deep waters where, victories are going to be hard fought, and you're going to get a lot of guys who get real chippy about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That seems
code of conduct
happens.
or not, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people who are worried about oh my God, there's just going to be so many. The judges are going to be so harsh. I don't think we're going to be any harsher than we have been. There's a very small population of people who need the code of conduct. For 95% of the player base, they already follow it. Right, they already are good, congenial people to play, and they're there to have fun.
Yeah.
Right. It's just that last 5% of people who want to win by kind of any means and want to argue their way through things, right, where we need it. And it just gives us more clear leeway to be like, nope, here's your yellow card, or nope, here's a red card, hit the showers.
Hit the showers.
Make sure you say that if we ever do that.
Seriously, that's a good one.
Hit the showers.
No, I just want to be like, all right, 3 laps, hit the showers, you're done, kid.
3 laps. And they're like, what? But no, really, 3 laps, go.
3 laps around what? Do it.
Timing you.
Man. I mean, part of the punishment should just be, okay, you have to do a judge walk with me and be like, okay, so we're going to spend the next 15 minutes just walking this hall up and down, occasionally stopping to answer easy questions.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. All right, now do that 15 more times in the next 2 hours.
Yeah, because this year there's no other events in that section of the hall. It's just the 40K champs. So there's no friendly, there's no Age of Sigmar or something like behind us. It's just all 40K champs all the time.
See, my only problem with that is that a lot of the times when I just need a break, I just like slither my way into the Age of Sigmar tables and like watch and be like, damn, those are pretty ass models.
Yeah, they're on I think a different floor that's supposed to have a nice view. So maybe during lunchtime, sneak over and take the view, take in the view.
There's a lot of good views in Vegas. There's all kinds of good views in Vegas.
Oh my God! Well,
there are.
Depending where you go, yes.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Like, there's like an Eiffel Tower, and there's like a fake Statue of Liberty.
Sea Lion.
Yeah. There's like a Luxor.
Uh-huh.
You know, there's like a pyramid.
Yeah, keep going.
What are you guys talking about?
So innocent.
No, he's not.
Not. For myself,
I'm not Tom.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother episode.
Poor Tom.
Have to have Tom on for that. But
I'm sure he's
myself,
writing fan fiction right now.
yes, Vegas fan fiction. For myself, which like John said, I don't expect too many yellows. What I do expect is a lot of warnings.
Yeah.
And that can just be you walking by and you hear people arguing and just giving a quick verbal warning. And that'll probably be enough to get people to calm down. It depends. From my experience, and again, my experience more from soccer. So if and that's the mindset I'm going in with. So when I say about being more harsh, even though Danny says he's not going to be, I probably would be, because I'll immediately revert. Once I have those cards in my hand, and we do have actual
You're
cards,
going to revert to judge mode or ref mode?
I'll revert to ref mode, and I'm a way harsher. I have a way more stricter tone when I'm in ref mode than when I'm just, as opposed to judge, I guess. As opposed to like 40K ref be in the past, with no code of conduct, with basically no direction on what to do, because now we're empowered to proactively, basically make people behave.
Yeah.
It empowers at least me anyway. Empowers me to be more, I guess, aggressive for it.
I don't know. I've always found a light touch works best, and people just dig their own graves.
No.
Yeah, I saw that happen firsthand.
I don't have to DQ. I don't have to DQ anybody if they just quit themselves.
I'm not saying DQ, but I'm just saying in terms of proactively, at least with the verbals.
Yeah, being able to just be like, "Hey, now you have a warning." Whereas you say that before, and people are like, "What the hell does that mean?"
Yeah.
Or like, "Hey, you have one step up from a warning. Do you have a system?"
Means nothing, because
right,
exactly.
I'm gonna give you a yellow card. What the fuck is this, soccer? And then you're like, "Well, did you not read the code of conduct?" See, now it works. In the past, none of that would have worked. People would have just been like, "What are you talking about, dude? You're giving me a verbal warning."
I have cards for everybody.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I have cards for everybody. I think I have like one or two extra sets.
In case we have to draft emergency judges.
No, I just have them. Just people are gonna lose them. You guys are gonna.
Matt Root loses round 1, drops emergency judge. Give him cards. You heard it here first, Matt. Predictions: you lose first round and drop and judge.
No, well, that's the worst time to give him to empower him.
Or one who could argue the best.
True. one of the two for sure. Yeah, I don't know which one yet.
But no, I see myself being a bit more proactive, I guess is the word, as opposed to strict in regards to issuing warnings, and then going from there. Because when we issue the warnings, we'll also be keeping track of who we issue them to.
Yeah, we have a system to keep track. It's already started.
So, yes, yellows have already been assigned.
Yes.
And if you don't think, then you'll know if you show up when you show up to register.
Well, and some people already
Or-
got the emails.
Yeah,
There's some people who already received their yellow card via email.
right. But the yellow, to be honest, the yellow card really doesn't go into effect
Until you're at the event, right?
until you're at the event. Because if you don't show up, if you never planned on going and you just never told anybody,
Right. Then that yellow card doesn't mean anything. Like, yeah.
right.
Hey, you have a yellow card because you never uploaded a list. Well, I'm not coming anyways. Okay.
Well, here's a second yellow card because you didn't tell us.
Yeah, right.
Being a jerk. So we'll see what happens. That's almost really the only thing I expect. I don't. Again, we can never know what's going to happen with much more people, with this many people, which is much more than before. Who know, and people coming from all over the world, not just the
Right.
U.S. and
Yeah.
from coming from so many different metas and the way especially the way they play the game and the way they interpret their rules. There's gonna be a lot of not confusion, but different ways of playing, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it just happens. I mean, 40K written in a social manner, which means people are going to interpret it based on their kind of social systems that they're in. So when you get a bunch of different systems together, it just inevitably leads to, but that's not how you do that. Well, yeah, it is. And then
That's not how I played in my basement.
well, it's not even that. It's like I mean, think about how people have been playing Tau at our store, which hasn't necessarily been accurate.
Right.
That's because nobody asked. I would have told them
Yeah.
how to play it. They just didn't ask.
Well, there is that. I always tell people not to ask.
It's like that game I played back in 7th edition. We were playing at a tournament. I think it was, yeah. And it was 7th. It was an RTT. And in the second round, I was playing a Tyranid player. And they did a couple things that were like, you couldn't, I don't remember what it was, but they made it so I couldn't like shoot at them or whatever without, like, I only hit them on 6s or I couldn't hit them at all or something, right? And then I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't even question it. I was like, I think that's wrong, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to lose this game. And then the next round, I didn't have an opponent, so I was on the bye, and I got called over to help adjudicate a call at that table with that guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I don't think you can do that. He's like, why didn't you say anything in our game? I was like, because I didn't care. I was like, because I'd already lost. It didn't matter, whatever. But yeah, you can't do that. He's like, well, I think I can. And I went and got the book and I opened it up. I'm like, here, this is where it says you can't do that. And he's like, oh, okay. Because that happens all the time, I think, in people's local metas. People just play stuff.
They just play. They don't question. They just
Yeah.
assume a player knows their own codex.
Yeah, we're all like, oh, Tom knows Tau. He must know what he's doing. I'm not going to question that.
Right. Yeah. So, but
Always question Tom.
Oh wow. I'll have to see his fan fiction before I question Tom.
I'm not reading any of his fan fiction. I mean, one, I don't believe that this is a thing, and two, fan fiction is not a thing.
I just want to see it. I didn't say I would read it.
50 Shades of Grey would disagree with you, though, John.
Once
I
see his
I
fan
don't
fiction-
acknowledge the existence of that franchise.
Yeah, well, that didn't stop her from making more money than God. So,
It's true.
although I think the best way I ever heard of that book series was like how to low key advertise you like a finger in the ass. Just read it in public.
Oh, jeez, man.
Wow.
Whoa.
I didn't know we were going there.
Okay, well, moving on.
So I
we,
guess
don't have the,
manage-
we don't have the family friendly tag on.
No, we do not. It is
No.
adult. People have to acknowledge that they're an adult when they get here.
Unless it's YouTube or the podcast.
Yeah, well, there's worse things on YouTube.
Yeah.
No, I think it's marked. I think I marked it for both.
Oh, okay, good.
I know
There's,
I did.
there's definitely
for,
way worse things on YouTube, and there's definitely way worse things on Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch. I definitely marked it. Real quick, a question from Axis of Entropy.
Sure.
If a unit's first shooting attack removes all visible models, can its remaining attacks damage hidden models in the target already declared? Off the cuff, I believe it's no.
I'll just look it up. It's got to be in the shooting
John.
rules. The shooting rules are actually pretty clear. like we had this
I don't
question. We had a question similar to this the other day, and I was like, "Well, let's just look at the rules." And people were like, "The rules are only 8 pages. They're not clear." And blah blah blah. And I was like, "Hey, look, here's the answer right here." It turns out this rule is right here in the actual core rules. Let's see.
You looking?
I'm looking. Talk amongst yourselves, children.
I'm looking too.
Oh, I'm not looking.
No, we know you don't look up rules.
Yeah.
No, I look at rules, but I don't have the pamphlet. I look at the pamphlet. I don't have the
yeah.
pamphlet. It's in my car.
I just have it on my computer. Oh, I'm having trouble finding. There it is. Shooting phase.
It's choosing to shoot with choose targets. So you choose targets first. So you only measure
Choose
range
targets.
of the weapon being
Choose
used
raised
in visible
weapons.
extreme model.
So he's asking.
I gotta make this bigger. I can't read it. Getting old over here.
Talk about me getting old.
Getting freaking old over here, man. I can't read this stuff.
Kids will do that to you.
Apparently.
At least that's who I blame.
Oh, and I have it set for like
Yeah,
double
so
pages. What the heck?
The way it reads to me is that in step 2, choose targets. That happens simultaneously with all of your weapons. All it says is only one model needs to be able to see, and the weapons need to be in range. But that's the only time you check.
Yeah.
So
if a
you
unit contains
go
more
to-
than one model, they can shoot at the same or different targets.
Yeah.
Declare how you'll split the shots. Yeah.
And then you just resolve the shots.
You just
Yeah.
resolve the shots.
So
They just
targeting
resolve.
happens before resolving. So
Right.
you'd only target one. You only target and measure for range once, and then
Mm-hmm.
after that, it's go for it.
And then it just says resolve.
Yeah, or it can shoot different if you can contain. Yeah, then it just says choose range weapon, but that's after you've declared your target,
Mm-hmm.
and then resolve attacks.
Yeah, because it says you can resolve attacks or attacks can be made one at a time, or in some cases you can roll for multiple attacks together.
Following sequences used to make attacks one at a time.
Yeah.
But again, at no point is it saying check to make sure you're in range or LOS. It's once you're at that stage,
Right.
it's just hit,
Once you've
wound,
done that,
sink.
you do it. Yeah.
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 So,
Solved.
So the unofficial
Yay,
answer is-
team.
Yay. I'm glad I helped.
Shut up, Adam.
your moral support. You're supervising.
Whatever. I still get XP.
Exactly. When we carry your ass through everything.
That's fine.
God, you're just
The
gonna
healer still gets XP.
you're just gonna be sitting down the whole damn time doing nothing.
No, I'll be walking because like you have to remember I feel empowered now.
Did we get the giant sombrero?
I have one.
Because you need to sit there and just answer.
You-
I'll
you-
allow
you-
it to things. We've
You
talked about
get
this.
one you get one when you reach 8 years old.
Okay, is that like a thing?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, just making sure. I mean, I don't want to assume things about
And
your
then make sure
culture.
you had to get Edwin one.
I'm sure. Yeah,
That's right.
that's
Take him
what I
down.
was thinking about for sure.
Take him down to Bear Street.
Yeah, there you go.
Although
He's-
there's a certain selection because he's only half.
He wears his belt. He loves his belt. It's a leather belt, and he got it down at Elvira Street. He wears it like all the time with everything.
Did you give him a giant belt buckle?
No, it doesn't have the part where you can like open up and put the belt buckle on
okay.
Child abuse.
it. That's child abuse. Cool.
When are you getting him his cowboy boots with that are really pointed?
He's not interested. He wears Adidas. Kid likes to run.
So you can still run in cowboy boots.
You cannot
Yeah.
run in boots.
You absolutely can.
If you want
Trust
to
me, you
like
can.
break an ankle.
No.
I think the last pair of boots I ran in were Doc Martens.
Oh my god, I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, the sombrero. Yeah, I'll have to.
I don't think we were talking about the sombrero. I think we were talking about expectations.
Oh,
The sombrero was a tangent off of that.
Oh, wow.
I can also bring my luchador mask,
Oh, that'd be good.
I don't know what that is.
the Mexican wrestling mask.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, John. We'll just stop talking to you for a while.
Yeah, man, just because I don't know what you're talking about doesn't mean I have to be relegated to a corner. I'm not Tom.
Hope you're having a good day at
You're-
work tomorrow, Tom.
Seriously.
You're our temp, Tom.
We are only mentioning Tom so much and bashing him so much because he literally told us he has nothing else to do at work tomorrow except for be salty and listen to this while he's like slugging through his work. We're nice
Sure,
friends.
he likes it. Yes. So speaking about sombreros and luchador masks,
Mhm.
one of the topics we decided to talk about today was managing your expectations. And we say this because, like I mentioned before, a lot of people are coming from around the world. I'm sure there are a lot of good players. I'm sure they do very well in their local area.
Mhm.
But you kind of have to, just like the title suggests, at times you have like, okay, well,
Manage your
I'll
expectations.
I'll tell my story because I thought I was going to win it all with like 80 pink horrors.
When the hell was this?
Yeah, it's when I went to the second LVO. It was the year before we started judging.
Oh, okay. So back when you actually thought you could win things.
Yeah,
Got it.
this is early.
This is before reality crashed.
Before you lost all hope.
Yeah, so this is basically before my first game.
Right. Was this when you were running that stupid Land Raider that let you like
Yes.
respawn everything? Yeah, okay, I remember that.
Yes.
I remember practicing with you and being like, this isn't that good.
It was the Land Raider.
Yeah.
What did it
The
do?
Forge World Land Raider, and it lets you like cast extra like summons or something.
You could re-roll dice equal to the number of hull points.
That's right. That's what it was. Yes.
Or
hull points was a thing.
Yeah, and
Don't take me back.
Yeah, please don't.
It was the Spartan, and the Spartan had a 8 or 9 hull points. But then GW FAQ'd it because this is when they started doing FAQs. So
Again?
it wasn't. Yeah, so it wasn't as good. And I think I went like 2-2-2 or 2-2-1, or I basically went like 500, something like that. But yeah, so I thought like the list was the shit, special snowflake, and dreams were crushed after basically game 1.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, so what I guess
You know what? That's actually better to have your dreams crushed round 1, because when I went to the first LVO and I had Frontline Gaming paint that Eldar army for me.
Yes.
And I was like, whatever, I played against this army. I don't need to have practice with it. Sure, you can ship it back to me 3 days before the event. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And I won my first 2 games handily. And I was like, man, this is so great. I'm gonna totally win the Las Vegas Open with an army that I've only played the number of times of games here. I'm doing so great. And then I got freaking curb stomped my third game, like into the floor. It wasn't even funny. I think I was tabled by turn like 2.5. I think if I had lost my first game, it would have been better than getting my hopes up and getting destroyed game 3, day 1. Yeah, manage your expectations. One person's going to win, which means you have a 1 in like 700 whatever chance.
Yeah, that's less than 1%.
Yeah, manage your expectations. Shoot for a winning record.
Yes.
I mean, what you should do is you go into it and you shoot for going undefeated. That should be your goal. But understand that could not happen. Shoot high, but,
depending on your,
adjust.
Depending on your mindset in general, like some people play in tournaments just to play.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I started playing in tournaments because I had, at the time, this is back in 3rd edition, there was really no one else that played unless I went to a tournament. I didn't have a local store because this is like literally almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was the dark days.
So I didn't have a local store. The only option was to play in tournaments. So I played at whatever RGTs there were, and then when GW came out with their GTs, I played in the GTs. So if you just want to play, some people just want to play 6 games.
Yep. Have a weekend away, play 6 games against
which is
people
totally
you
fine.
don't know.
Absolutely cool.
As I would argue, probably the best way to approach LVO.
Yeah, because you are in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy Vegas, enjoy your games.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, a little more competitive, so they want to win their games. That's how they find their enjoyment. I think it's those people that are ones that really have to manage their expectations, especially if they're dominating their local area.
Right.
I just say this because, like we said, like John said, especially in John's example, you get almost a false, like I don't want to say false hope.
At a tournament
also-
as large as the LVO is now, there's a lot of ability to get a false hope.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because you can get two guys your first two rounds that are not that great and are just there for the fun, and you came big fish, small pond, and you're like, sweet, I stopped two guys, and my third round you run up against, one of the big guys, and that's that. You run up against, or you run up against a list piloted by another big fish, small pond that you've never seen because you're a small pond.
Right.
So think about who you are, where you're coming from, what your goals should be. Don't let everything for your whole weekend hinge on the idea that you have to win the LVO.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, go into it, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to do cool things. I'm going to see these things when I'm there. I'm going to do the pub crawl. I'm going to meet people that I've never met before. I'm going to talk to, the guys from my favorite podcast. I'm going to meet Reese for the first time. Whatever it is, like, think about a bunch of other stuff that you're going to do. Don't let your entire enjoyment hinge on the idea that I'm going to go undefeated and win the Las Vegas Open.
Yeah, because if I did that, I would have rage quit after SoCal Open.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say I shit the bed, but it was very it was a very frustrating weekend.
Definitely want to see clean sheets.
No, but I did enjoy those games. Even the ones I lost, I enjoyed. It wasn't my opponent's fault,
Yeah, it's your fault. It's always your fault. Just ask your wife.
Just
She'll tell you. Don't worry.
oh no, yeah, she'll definitely tell me. That's why I don't tell her. Oh, I just fine. Answer.
She doesn't really care. It's fine.
She doesn't,
Right.
so I don't even have to say.
Yeah.
So
It's your hobby.
I asked my wife if she wanted me to call her every night when I'm gone, or she's like, "You don't call. You don't even text me when I'm asleep." I'm like, "Yeah, because that's when I remember."
God.
The key to a happy marriage. Well, I shouldn't say happy. Key to a marriage.
key to one that happens.
One that happens. One that's still together
Yikes.
after X amount of years.
All right.
Because it's cheaper to keep her. Misogynistic comments aside.
Yeah, seriously.
But like SoCal Open, I was just most cases I don't want a losing record. Actually, my expectations for most tournaments is not to go over.
Right.
Okay.
So I mean, if you go by that, I'm usually fine. I've only gone over I think twice in the 20 years. Both were RTTs. But I think, like you said, John, about big fish, small pond. That is something that happens a lot. We see it a lot, especially.
Oh, yeah,
over
for
there.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you're one who's not a big name, or at least not I would at this point for LVO, a world renowned name, because like we know names as the judges, and just being in the community. There's names that we know or recognize that may not be known on a larger scale.
Right. Yeah, for
but
sure.
we see come up at RTTs and mainly other grand tournaments.
Well, then
Yeah,
also, I've been writing that article all year for Reese
Right.
for like the ITC, the breakdown every week. So there's all kinds of people I've seen go through the top 10 of each faction. Like I've seen tons of names. So when I was looking down the LVO list, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that name. That guy was actually doing pretty good early in the season. Or like, man, that guy was in the top 10 like 3 months into the season. Or this person was in the top 10 of Necrons or, Sisters or Knights or whatever for a portion of the season. So like there's a lot of names on there that I know just from doing that article that I see over and over and over again. And I'm not even talking about like the top 10 overall. like just people from events, from all kinds of stuff. A person would win a grand tournament and they'd jump up 15 spots, and all of a sudden they're in the top 20 early on in the season. And now I recognize that name later on. I'm like, well, okay, if you could win a grand tournament with, 110 players or whatever, a major with 110 players or whatever the case may be, then clearly you are somebody who has to be looked out for.
Right.
Even if you're not the household name.
If you're someone that has won even if it's just one grand tournament, even if it's just the one that barely passes, even a 28 player small one, that's still something to be
because it's still 5 rounds.
It's still 5 rounds over 2 days, and that's a lot of brain power you have to use over those 2 days, and especially if you're using clocks, things like that, because a lot of people aren't used to the clocks still. I think those people probably have probably a better chance than someone who's dominates who wins their local RTT every month or every quarter or whatever. So I think it's those people that sometimes feel that they have that they're going to win the whole thing because they're winning on their local level. And John mentioned earlier about playing against someone with an army you've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's especially true because, like, in our area, I was talking with someone about. He asked me, "Well, hey, what armies do you not see in Southern California?" And I listed, I think, Grey Knights. We don't really have a Grey Knight player.
No, we don't.
I think I said
We
Space
lost our
Wolves.
Sisters player.
Sisters of Battle.
Okay, but do you really need to prepare for Grey Knights?
No. Well, let me finish. Stop interrupting. But one that he mentioned was Deathwatch. And
yes, that is a problem.
And that's because we don't have a dedicated Deathwatch.
Well, what's his name does?
Not someone we can practice against.
Not Jay.
It's Andrew.
Andrew plays Deathwatch. Although it's not like pure Deathwatch, but he plays. No. So but he also isn't at our store all the time.
Right, that's what I mean. He's not someone we can.
Right.
Hey, can you come down and? He's not like our local player Danny Kwan, who's available literally. It seems like 24/7.
But he's also playing that Dark Angels list, which is good to practice against because it's rare and you're not going to see a lot of it.
Right.
And it's good. That's a great list.
Yeah, but we have most other. Armies, but because we don't nobody.
We're missing Gene Stealer Cult. We don't have we have plenty of Tyranid players. We don't have Gene Stealer Cult player.
We will in a little bit, Jacob.
Well, everybody's going to have Gene Stealer Cults in their meta in like 5 days. So we don't have a Gene Stealer Cult. We don't have a Deathwatch. We don't have a Grey Knight. Sisters.
Well, in terms of like armies that matter, nobody has
orcs. We don't really have an orc player. Like there's people who have an orc army, but we don't have somebody who's dedicated to it, who really knows it, who we can practice against.
I mean, we have Jeff who knows it, but he doesn't play.
But he's not playing it. So there was nobody playing orcs in our meta running up to LVO. That's going to be problematic for the people coming from here because there's going to be a lot of orc players.
Right. Yeah. So if you're missing some of those armies that are either gatekeeper, like knights, if you don't have any knight players in your army, there's something wrong with your area, to be honest.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Deathwatch, because Deathwatch, especially with the new, it's not used for LVO, but after LVO with the new bolter drill, Deathwatch is even better now.
Yeah, it's true.
So you have to, and then like John said, orcs. We'll see how they do this weekend.
We don't really have a Mechanicus player local who we can hit up. We have a Mechanicus player on the team we can talk to about it.
Yeah. We have a Mechanicus player that could, but he's very eccentric, as a Mechanicus player should be, I guess. Actually, both our teammates are.
Yeah. We do have one of the world's best knight players on our team.
But I'm not playing, so.
No, Derek. Derek's high ranked.
Yeah. Derek is damn good with that Porphyrion.
Yeah, Derek is super
playing Knights, or is he playing Dark?
Dark Mechanics. I think he's playing Knights. I don't know which one he's going to play, but either one, he's good at it no matter what. Like, he's great.
But see, he's not local. That's the issue.
Well, you got me.
Again, he's not local, so that's the issue that we have.
I'm a close second to Derek on our team when it comes to Knights.
Sure. If close, you mean by
What are you talking about? I have
distance?
literal trophies on my wall I'm looking at right now to prove it.
I'm sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear what you said.
That's fine. Everybody on the podcast will hear me. Don't worry.
God.
Everybody live on the internet heard me. It's fine.
But so going along with that and managing, and which because we were talking about name players, a lot of name players coming to LVO, I kind of wanted to touch on two aspects of the different number of people coming. We'll talk with the positive part of it first. Well, it may seem negative, but it's actually positive in regards to almost like what to do when you get paired against someone of the caliber of Nick Notabody.
So
Nick
when
Bro-
when you're paired with a name,
with a name you recognize,
right?
Or
That's
a
not
name
from your meta.
or your name your friends recognize, even though you may not, which can even make it worse.
That's even funnier. Oh my God, you're paired with this person. It's in your like team chat on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh God, and then you're like, I don't who what is this person?
that-
They're like the
I mean-
#1 ranked Space Marine
Yeah.
player in the world. How do you not know who this is? They won the London GT, or they won this thing, or they won that. And you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about. This guy?
Yeah, that's almost the attitude you have to take with someone like that.
Yeah, you just like they're just another player, whatever. You can't
Yeah,
get it's.
You can't let them get in your head.
Are they good? Sure, of course they're good because they've won whatever. They're well known because of whatever. But like they're you. They're what you could be if you practice more. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's almost like playing a future version of yourself if you practice and keep on it.
Yeah.
Like a good example is John, it was the year they had the BAO at that hall where we had to walk up 7 flights of stairs.
Oh yeah.
Because we couldn't figure out how to get inside.
How to get in there? Yeah.
Or how to get to it.
That wasn't a bad venue. It was just we needed to know how to get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was on us. That was definitely on us. But
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, but one of our club mates who doesn't play as much anymore. Actually, hasn't played in a while. But he was playing against Steve Sisk.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
I think it was round 4.
Mhm.
That year is a 5-round BAO.
Yeah. Well, then
At the
another
time-
teammate got paired up against Brett, right? Perkins. That was the
Yes. Oh,
same year, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That, and they both lost.
Yeah.
But the problem is our teammate that got paired with Perkins is actually really good.
Yes.
But because he doesn't play as much, nobody knew who he was.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's like the quintessential dark horse at that point in time.
Yeah, and
Right.
unfortunately, he doesn't play anymore, as far as I know. So, but I mentioned the Steve Sisk one because at the time Steve Sisk was at least #1 Space Marine player, and I
Yes.
think during that year he was in the hunt
Yeah, he was.
for top ITC.
Mhm.
But you could tell that the fact that he was such a good player got into his head, that it actually affected how he played the game and how they conducted the end of that game. Because what ended up happening was they counted the math wrong in the mission packet, so that Steve had won, and he just accepted it because I think he assumed that he knew what he was doing and he knew how you're supposed to score it. But later on, I think it was after the end of the tournament when we talked to him, or I think it was like after his last game, after game 5, we found out after he talked to us that no, you guys did the addition wrong, and it actually our teammates should have won that game, but because he didn't question it because it was a named player,
Right.
Because it was a named player, he let that get into his head. And he didn't question or he didn't really question how the game was scored. Now, I'm not saying Steve cheated, because if you looked at those score sheets at that time, because this is now 2-3 years ago, they were very convoluted and mistakes were made all the time.
Yeah, that was definitely when things were still getting worked out in terms of like the best way to do score sheets and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it wasn't. I think it was just him not asserting himself and questioning how the score sheet was, how it was scored,
And
or
not paying
going over
attention.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay attention. No matter
So
who the person is.
yeah, Danny, any thoughts on that? I know you got paired against a couple people, Reese. I think this year, that were high end players.
I mean, really, part of it is, you know, they're high end players. You know their name because they play a lot. So that is something I think it's fair to factor in that they, depending on your training regimen, might just be way more prepared than you, and you have to accept that, right? But a big part is just remember it's just another player. Like they may, if you get starstruck, which is kind of stupid in this game because we're playing toy soldiers, right? Like, and I love the game, but let's just be real. Like you're not if you're playing, you know, it's not like you're playing Serena Williams in tennis. You know what I mean? Like you're playing someone.
You're not really as outmatched as you think.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is not. You could be outmatched, but there's just this game is. I don't think there's really any player that just absolutely could run circles around anybody, even with a weak list. That there's a lot more random aspect to this game. This game is dice. This game is matchup dependent to a certain level. You might get matched up against Nanavati or any of the other big names, but because you come from kind of the outside of the meta, you have this really, unanticipated list that might actually really be advantageous for them, and you can really push on them and pressure.
Right.
And if you just psych yourself out immediately, you're not even going to go in with that mindset of how do I win this game? If you want to win a game, you have to walk in with that mindset of how am I going to win this game?
But Danny, I got this $10 list on the internet. I'm going to win, right?
Maybe, I don't know. Again, I'm that person who still believes that list definitely is a factor. Player skill is the most important factor, right? So you have to acknowledge that if this person is a name, they probably have more player skill than you because they play more than you do, which is how you get good at this game. But that doesn't mean it's an auto lose, right? You're just not.
You're coming from also a War Machine aspect of it, where you have to play. I forget what the average was. Was it 50 games or no?
You play 10 games. You have to play 10 before you can make any changes.
But it was also playing like 10 games against every popular build.
Yes, that's how you prepared for a GT. You have 10 games with your list in its current iteration against every major build, right? Control, like the big control builds, all the popular tournament BS. Right. And if your list couldn't cut it, if you couldn't come out with a positive record, you need a new list.
Yeah, because then your list is fine. Then it comes down to basically your headspace.
Right. And again, a lot of the times you see it when people get paired up against someone that they know is like an internet, 40K internet celebrity. You see the wind go out of their sails and they just kind of resign themselves to like, well, I'm going to fucking lose. And it's like, sure, maybe, probably. But if you go in with that attitude, you're going to lose. Right.
Yeah. Something can be said in regards to the. Well, I mean, a perfect example is I think there's a local player. He comes to every tournament, beautiful armies, but he almost always gets wooden spoon.
Yeah.
And
he goes to LVO too, like every time.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And I think part of it, personally, I think part of it is his mindset.
Yes. He always, every game, even when you talk to him, he's like, well, I'm just going to lose, but I'm here to have fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guy. Like, try to actually envision that you might win.
So if you, he actually did fairly well, at least on day one of SoCal Open. And actually, he had a better record than me, but I'm not going to go into that. At the end of the tournament. But I think if you have a mindset like that to begin with, and then pair it up against someone with name recognition, I think that certainly does factor into your game, and something that people I think just have somehow have to overcome. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I can't really say how to do that. You know, um, but I'm sure there's ways or trick. I mean, if I'm paired with somebody that's a name, I just play. I just play. I don't really worry about it too much.
Well, again, the thing they'll always remember, especially if you want to win, is you can't think about the end. You have to think about the process, right? Like, just if you're thinking about like, oh my god, how do I win this person? They're going to beat me. You're really should only be thinking, how am I going to deploy? How are they going to deploy? Right? Then what's my first movement phase going to be like? Let me do that. Right? Just if you follow the process, you're going to do a lot better than you think, because the game is won through that process. It's not won just by one random dice roll, unless you're playing two skew-ass armies against each other, which is always funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you go. I think we had one tournament that was you and me, Adam, where it was like, well, we have stupid skew lists, so
yeah,
whoever wins the first turn is going to win.
Yeah, I think I did that with was it Jeff? I think it was Jeff. One tournament was like, all right, whoever goes first is going to win, and I happened to go first, so that was basically it. But
for a while there, basically the rule to go first decided every game, so whatever.
True, it was during that time,
right?
That was mostly just because people didn't build lists very well.
There's that too. The flip side of that is what to do if one of two things happen. Because just as we know the good players, we also know the bad players. I shouldn't say bad, but we also know the players that have a dubious past.
Yeah, history of problems.
Yeah. And they may be known on a national scale or world scale. They may be known just from talking to people that, like, after the round, after day one.
Or they might be known because they've been problems previous times at LVO. You never know.
Yeah, so, or you know now because you're playing them, and now you're starting to see them doing certain things, or they have certain tendencies.
Right.
And it's a question of what to do. And I've talked to a few people about this off the air, just in chats recently, and they actually asked me this question as to what do you do when you come up to somebody who you know is a chronic or historically a cheater, or during the course of a tournament, people are saying about certain players, hey, this guy does this, does that, watch out for this, watch out for that. Danny, you want to go first with
what do you do?
Yeah, what would you do?
What I do when I'm playing someone I know has a bad rep is, quite honestly, I'm just don't give the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, you're playing a game and, says, oh, hey, this rule works this way. A lot of the times you're like, yeah, sure. Like, even if you're not really super familiar with the rule, or maybe they bump a model and you swear that model was somewhere else, or, they roll dice and you don't see all of them, right? You can usually give people the benefit of the doubt because they're not trying to pull anything on you. But when you're playing someone that you have on good authority of, yes, this person bends rules or whatever, you just don't give them the benefit of the doubt, right? So if they're rolling dice and you can't see them, you just have to ask, like, hey, can you roll those in the center of the table? I didn't see what they were. Right? If they're say, hey, the rule works this way, actually ask them to show you the real rule and read it yourself. Right? Like,
right.
I think that's the biggest thing is you have to not give people like that the benefit of the doubt and not assume, because you can't make the assumption that they're playing the same game you are. Right? Like you're going to play and you're going to play by the rules and you're going to have a, you want to have a good time and have a good game, and they're not playing by that rule. They're playing by the I need to win this game by whatever means necessary.
What happens if they're playing 4D chess?
I hate you.
You knew I was gonna squeeze that one in there, Adam.
Yes.
Do whatever door was open.
I was going to make sure that you roll where people can see those dice, John.
That's a good story for another time.
Yeah, just as a note to everybody, You want to hear good tournament stories? Come to the judge table when we have
Oh
time.
yeah.
Or even after that, if you're in the bar, just ask us
Pub
about
crawl?
certain pub crawl. Ask us. We're more than happy to talk about.
Especially after that tiki bar.
We're more than happy, especially me. I'm more than happy to tell stories about other people, places, and things.
I'll tell you stories
But,
about myself. My own
No,
games.
I'll talk about people all the time. But in regard, yeah, I think like I had a recent at our last RTT, I had a player who he had killed one of my knights, and I was putting the knight away, and he rolled for something else, so I didn't see the roll.
Oh yeah,
And
no, I can't do that.
he did well. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, like Danny said, because it was like his first tournament. So I used it more, and I'm playing the ringer anyway.
Oh, that's true because you're helping officiate.
He had the buy, so
Right.
I used it more as a learning experience, as a teachable moment. To let them know that next time, make sure that your opponent sees you make the roll as opposed to because they don't think you're being shady or rolling behind something, like some players do. John. But I think not giving them the benefit of the doubt helps. Unfortunately, sometimes you do have to take that extra step to watch them a little more closely. And I would question a lot, like Danny said. I would constantly ask questions, not to the point where it
Not to
seems
where you're
like
badgering.
Yeah. I once saw a player. This is BAO. It was the first BAO. Wait, hold on. I have to look at my plaque. BAO 2016. It was round 6. I made Alan stay, so we had to pay for the extra night because I wanted my plaque. For
Good
best
for you.
renegades.
Good for you.
And the player, we're playing game 6. The player next to me got up, walked away, and essentially rage quit. And
Nice.
complained as to why he had to answer all of these questions.
Right.
Where his opponent was just like, I was just asking how stuff worked. I've never seen this army before.
How dare you not know how rules work?
So if your opponent gets tilted because you're just asking stuff because you don't know, because you have never seen this army. Like if I play against Grey Knights, I ask a lot of questions because I don't see that army very often. Or if they're working on a special trick or whatever, I need to know what you're trying to do so it makes sense to me. So I don't call a judge over every time. If you want me to call a judge, I'll call a judge. But I'd rather not, and you just answer my question. But you don't want to be to the point to badgering. You don't want it to make it seem like you're just trying to waste their time, especially if you're on the clock.
Right.
And if that seems to be the case, just ask to see their codex. And you look it up for them while they do whatever, just to go do something else. I'll look it up for us so that you don't waste any of their time. There's plenty of ways to do that without wasting time because I know the clock's going to be an issue this year for a lot of people.
It should be. We should practice with it.
There'll be people that, there's going to be people that are like, I don't slow play. I do just fine. I finish all my games.
Yeah.
After 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that's true.
So I know there'll be people out there. We know there are people that are very adamant at not using a clock.
Too bad.
Especially because there's really no option if someone wants to use a clock. You're required to use it, no questions asked. But I know at SoCal, everyone knows that there was a player that had units pulled off because his models weren't based.
Yep, it's true.
When I talked to other players as to why didn't you catch it earlier, they were like, well, I was too busy worrying about everything else about him because the player is a known cheater. So he was too busy focusing on where he rolls his dice, what rules he's using. Is he doing the correct rules? They weren't paying attention.
Right.
To how the bases on his models.
I think the way I do it when I have to play against a player like that is I start off the game right away. They measure something, and I put my finger down and mark it. Like immediately. or I put a dice down, I mark it immediately. And it's like a subtle way of being like, okay, that's where you measure to. Like if I know they have a measuring problem, if I know that they consistently like move things from one place to another, mark them both.
That's fucking annoying.
Mark them both right away. Like, okay, I know that you consistently move stuff back and forth. Here's the mark you marked with your measuring tape here, and then I'm gonna put this dice over here and mark where the back of your base was. So now we all know. So you have to go back to that spot, and then
I remember
that can help. Also, if I know that they fast dice, I'll call them on it the first time, even if I don't think that they necessarily fast dice. To be like, hey, you need to roll that where I can see it.
right.
Or wait, put those back because I'm pretty sure you had like a 2 and a 3 in there, and you hit on 4s, so you need to re-roll that. And you're firm with it right away. Don't be like, hey, I think you might have had a 2. Are you sure you didn't pick it? No, I'm sorry, I saw a 2 and a 3. You need to re-roll that. And if you're firm with it right away, then it'll correct itself. If you're not, it's not going to. Like if you're wishy-washy about it, if you're not upfront about it, if you like, and this comes back to the thing that we've talked about like 1,000 times, which is advocating for yourself. If you're not willing to do it, then it's not going to happen. Like the judges can't watch your game and advocate for you. So
I mean, that's a really big thing. Is you have to remember behavior is not self-correct, right? Like a person who is going to cheat or is going to play loose, they're not going to stop unless you do something to correct their behavior. If you just passively sit there, they're just going to keep doing it, right?
Yes.
Until they meet resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
if you want to have a fair game, you have to provide that resistance.
yeah, and those players who do that kind of stuff, if you call them on it immediately, they almost always go back to just playing straight because they know, okay, well, this person, I can't get away with this.
Right.
And a lot of players will push, and they'll be like, let's see what I can get away with. Oh, I could fast dice here, so let's see if I can measure an extra inch here. I can measure an extra inch. Okay, when it comes to my charge, I'm going to measure an extra 2. I'm going to be sloppy with it, do it fast. You know? And so they keep going. It's like if you give a mouse a cookie book. If you give a cheater an inch in 40K, they're going to want to fast dice. And if you're going to let them fast dice, they're going to want to like cheat during the charge phase and fight again when they can't against a unit that they didn't declare a charge against. There's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of ways in the rules to fudge it and get into things.
This goes to the fact that when we talked about before in regards to bidding.
Yes.
Every time, for those that don't know, the term we use, and everybody
Bidding.
does it. And everybody does it in their daily life, not just 40K.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, especially if you're married or have a significant other.
Students do it to me all the time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
God, yes. And that essentially what it is just trying to get that inch. Hey, is it okay if I do this?
Mm-hmm.
That's them asking a bid.
Yes.
So you give them, you say yes, now they'll ask for more, then they'll ask for more. And then at one point you're going to say no, but by that point it's too late.
Here, can I have this? Sure, you can have this rope to hang yourself with and get an F.
Yeah. So, hey, honey.
What do you mean I didn't do well on this test? Well, you sat around and didn't do anything the whole time. But you told me I could do this thing. You're right. You chose to. Sorry.
Hey, honey, we're not doing anything next Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
So if you ever have to ask that question, then yes, you're bidding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My favorite thing is right now there's students who are like, I want to, can I work outside? Like in the hallway. It's too loud and you're going to work outside? Sure. And then they don't like do anything when they're out there. They just mess around with their friends. And then it comes time with the test and they don't do well. Sorry. I don't know what you want.
Yeah. So just be conscious of, I mean, you don't have to hyper focus in on it. I don't think. To the point where you're missing everything else, but
it's like the code of conduct thing. It's highly unlikely any of it even comes up at any point in your games at the LVO. There's so many players, it is unlikely you run into this small subset of players who are like issues.
Yeah, literally in the case of name players that are really good,
yes,
and players you should be watching out for are minuscule.
Mm-hmm. And the code of conduct coming up, it's highly unlikely any of that stuff happens.
And if you feel that you're not getting it's not getting anywhere, just call a judge.
Yes, you should always call a judge if some things aren't going well.
or you at least perceive it. Like if you feel you need someone to help,
sure,
measure for them. Or well, we don't have templates anymore, but if you need someone to help hold a template.
Well, there was that one time that didn't work out so well, where I took over holding the templates, and the player then questioned my placement of the template after the whole reason I took over placing the templates because you were questioning everything this guy was doing, and
Right.
I, the impartial judge, am now placing the templates, and you called it into question. I don't think so, dude. This is not gonna fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in that instance, you actually set the set the
The boundary.
basically set the boundary. Yeah, like Danny said. I'm like, no, this is how it is.
Yep.
So,
Pro tip at the LVO: if we say something, whether you agree with it or not, is irrelevant.
I've now written, I think, 2 articles about that.
It's true. It is true.
Whatever happens, the judge is always right.
Yep.
Just accept it and move on.
Yep.
I mean,
If
to
we're
be
wrong,
honest, if
we're wrong, big deal. It doesn't
not
really
wrong.
matter.
The judge is not wrong at that moment.
No, never in the moment. 24 hours later, sure. But
Sure.
in that moment, just suck it up and move forward.
And only 2 people are going to, actually only one person out of the 2 is going to remember that call. I can tell you for me, it's not going to be me.
No.
Don't you remember when you made that bad call? Nope.
Nope. Who are you?
Don't remember that at all.
I don't remember who you are. We're talking about back all. LVO when?
Yeah.
2017.
That's more or less.
That's 2 years ago, man.
It's more or less my referee experience.
Yeah.
Kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is you can argue it. You can argue all you want. I'll just give you a yellow card. You see what I'm talking about, John?
Yes, I see how the referee in you comes out.
So you don't want to be that guy, or maybe you do. I don't know. I remember I went to when I went to the first Los Angeles GT years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I mean years ago, I mean year 2000.
God, man, I was in high school.
Shut up. And there were 2 guys that actually went there with the specific task of wanting to get kicked out.
Nice.
Okay.
So
Why?
there's always I don't know.
People are dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do people go over Niagara Falls in a barrel, John?
Right. That's true.
Because they hate life.
Yeah, I guess so.
So unless you want to be that guy, then just
I don't think anybody wants to be that guy.
okay. You have a much happier picture of humanity than I do, John.
That's probably true. It's probably true. Which is a scary thought. considering the nickname you all gave me.
You earned that nickname, son.
Not earned
Yes.
that nickname. Not earned.
That was well earned.
It's not earned at all. People piss me off.
Uh-huh.
I do nothing.
Would you
Anyone
prefer we
wants-
just call you Smug Baby Goat?
That's fine. I like that one.
Yes, which is why we don't call him that. Like I said,
enough.
nobody gets to nickname themselves.
I'm like Magnus. I did nothing wrong.
Oh, God.
and that means you did everything wrong.
Yep.
I'm like the Emperor. I didn't do anything. These are all bad examples.
John, someone's asking to look at the
The meme girl.
meme. Yeah, the link to it.
I don't have a link. I think, can I direct message this guy? Let me see if I can direct message him.
Yes, you
the
can.
actual file, though. I don't think I can send an actual
Oh,
file.
I don't know if you can do that. Yeah.
See, I just had the file on my computer. You know what, Mac 10 Truck? You could find it on Warhammer 40K memes or Warhammer 40K humor on Facebook. I'm pretty sure that's where I found that one. So you can search. You can search there. All right. Next topic.
All right. Next talk is going to be real brief. As everyone knows, the Gene Stealer Cult actually comes out the Saturday of LVO.
You and Danny can handle this one. I don't give a shit about this.
Oh, I'm skipping over it because we can talk about it when it's actually
When it's a thing.
when it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff looks cool. It doesn't really appeal to me. So
No.
I like the Vect. That's I just haven't seen enough to care.
I just like
already
that it triggered people.
yeah. A 3CP Vect? What are you talking about? All right.
Yeah, because that's not going to get, FAQ'd immediately.
They might leave it. That'd be funny.
They might leave it. We'll see. I don't know.
Just a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already been splashing GSC into my NIDs anyway, but I have to really read the codex and get an idea. Because I mean, if nothing else, I think the easiest way is just. I think a common way for mostly Tyranid players as opposed to GSC players is to take a Supreme Command, take a couple of characters, whoever can basically buff charges out of reserves, and then a big unit of Aberrants if you need anti-armor, or Gene Stealers if you don't want to do the Swarm Lord trick. With your own Gene Stealers, if for whatever reason you don't feel like running Swarm Lord. I think that'll be pretty common. And then I know our team chat's like all a buzz with the idea of just dropping down, what is it, like 20 little buggers with hand flamers and just, burninating a squad, which sounds cool. I just don't want to get those models and build and paint them. So I need to see the codex to really get an idea. If nothing else, they'll just be a splash to my Tyranid army. And I have to test to see, because honestly, it has to be better than Old One Eye and a Stone Crusher Carnifexes for me to feel like it's worth it to add in like some anti-armor tech. That's not that. So that's the easiest thing for me to slot in.
Yeah, I don't think we really see how strong the list actually is until Adepticon.
Yes, that'll be its real testing ground.
So we probably won't talk about Gene Stealer Cult that much, to be honest, because we don't really focus on that aspect of.
Well, there's plenty of other podcasts that'll do it. So we don't need to repeat what everyone else is doing. And we've generally had that rule. We don't like to talk about things till we've seen it in the wild for a while.
Yeah, and I want to see like the actual book, and I want to have played against it.
Yeah, playing against it really helps.
From what we're hearing on our team chat, we'll have a chance. So we'll see what that does. Real quick, everyone else saw the bolter drill rule, which is not in effect for
LVO.
For LVO. All that did for me, anyway, I already told you guys, was show me that nobody knows how to do math.
Yep, that's true.
Or reading comprehension.
Or have proper reading comprehension. I'm sure that bugs you, Danny.
Oh, it does.
Listening to some of the podcasts try to figure out how the rule work is both funny and sad at the same time. So, I mean, it makes, as we mentioned before, it makes Death Watch a lot better. That's really all it does. I don't know how viable it'll make other armies. We won't know till Adepticon, because Adepticon's really only a month away.
Yeah,
that is true.
Crazy.
So,
which is crazy to think about how quick really Adepticon and LVO are on each other.
Yeah, well, yeah. The first year I went, LVO was like the third week in January.
Right.
So that's a little more space between that and Adepticon. These lately, it's been a lot closer. And I just realized that the second big FAQ is out basically at the end of next month. Supposedly.
Oh shit! Is it?
Yep. It's already been 6 months.
My God.
Yeah, I mean it's already been 6 months.
Time is moving too fast.
But depending how Adepticon goes, it may be late again. So they should have just said April.
We'll see if Matt Root breaks Tyranids again.
The one quick last thing. We had the 30K, the Forge World Weekender.
Yeah.
Where we saw Sanguinius. The final form, so to speak.
Yeah. Super sad.
I have plenty of memes with that on the on the old slideshow here. Yes.
But your memes are prior to the full reveal. Has your opinion changed after?
It's better, but you're not gonna play it on the scenic base.
No,
because if you're playing 30K, it has to be played on the 40 millimeter. If you're playing 40K and they have a Sanguinius, they're going to come out with a model for Sanguinius. So
which they're not, because he's dead. Sorry.
Exactly. Right. They'll come out with the Sanguinor.
Sanguinator, yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, you'll come out with the Sanguinius. Oh wait, no, you can't do that, huh? Funny how they did that.
Do you think it looks better with the sword or the spear?
I think it looks better with the. the spear if you don't have the scenic base. I think it looks better with the sword if you have the scenic base.
Okay.
I like the spear better.
Yeah, I like the spear better.
I mean, really, the character that needed the spear was Russ.
Yes.
Because the whole freaking thing with the stupid spear is that the spear is something he never wanted to use. He only ever used it the one time. But like it's this iconic thing that like he had this spear and it was his. I've never heard of Sanguinius using a spear. I've read all Horus Heresy novels. When did the dude ever pick up a spear?
You missed it. It's in the super secret version.
I mean, I'm going to ask Tom. Because Tom's read all the books too and he's read them more recently. Like, I don't remember him ever picking up a spear.
Okay, more importantly, what do you think of the Contemptor with the jump pack?
Do we really need jump dreads?
No, we don't. And those not.
We already have ones that fly. I mean, we had ones that flew in 7th edition, right? Can't you make them fly in 8th edition too with the stupid Blood Angel ones?
Well, the regular the box dreadnought can fly because in Blood Angels. I just think those nozzles, bad.
Whatever.
I know it's concept art or it's not the final form, but
it's not the final form. That's funny you say that since all the people were talking about Dragon Ball Z with that stupid model.
Yes, the new
He
Porphyrion
does look like he went Super Saiyan.
He does. I just don't like it.
I do like that that captain or chapter master that's wiping his blade.
What's that one?
For some reason, I like that pose. It's hold on a second. It's a pose. He ends up being the first chapter master of the Blood Angels.
He's like wiping his blade on. I didn't see that one.
He's wiping the demon blood off of his blade, and there's like a severed arm, demon arm, right there. It's actually, I think it's pretty.
It's Forge Roll.
Yes, it's in
see if I
the.
can find
it.
So I can see it because that pose actually doesn't sound bad. Was that on the community page from the Weekender?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, it's not a super action pose or anything, but I just like the way. I don't know, I like the way it looks. Although I don't know.
Look, there's a post on the Warhammer community page about the Las Vegas Open.
Yes.
I don't follow this stuff, guys. Just doesn't. I just don't. What do you want from me?
You need to be informed.
I am plenty informed.
Yeah, I sent the picture in our chat.
Well, I'm practically founded now.
Too late.
Why do you gotta be so slow?
Why you gotta be so slow?
I should have sent it originally. Oh, the White Scars guys. I saw those guys.
Oh, okay.
See, it's not that I don't pay attention. I only pay attention to stuff I care about. I don't care about Blood Angels. White Scars are awesome. Why is there a White Scars Dreadnought?
I don't. Yeah, because they don't like dreadnoughts.
They don't like dreadnoughts.
Maybe those
like there's this whole
like.
thing in Scars in the book Scars where or no, it's Path to Heaven where the one guy is like basically he should have been interred into a dreadnought, but instead they made like this entire giant like mechanical body for him, almost like he's an Iron Hand, because they don't want to put him in a dreadnought. Like that was the whole point. And here I'm looking at a Contemptor and Leviathan White Scars Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Because they really hated that guy.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just found the Blood Angel guy. Nope, he looks cartoony. I think it's the paint job though. That paint job's trash.
Well, I'm as much
that
as
non-metallic metal. That non-metallic metal is bad. It's like yellow.
Oh yeah.
Is it just my screen?
Yeah.
No, my screen's calibrated correctly. That's trash. That's terrible non-metallic metal. Like you have some of the best painters available to you, and that's what you've got.
I don't know. I don't know if they do anymore though.
They do. They can hire them if they want to. That blade is awesome.
The only thing I question is, do you have to really wipe the blood off of a power sword?
No, it should just burn off. It's for effect, okay, buddy?
I'm just asking.
It's a cool.
I still like.
Can we focus on the terrible gold?
Oh my God, what more can you say other than it?
They make freaking metallic paints, paint it, and then ink it with the stupid seraphim sepia. It looks 1,000 times better than this. He looks like Ronald McDonald. It's red and yellow.
Ooh, I didn't even get that. Oh man, now you ruined it for me. Thanks.
He's Ronald McDonald without the put clown paint on his face.
John coming out swinging.
Ronald
Wow.
McDonald Marine. Well done. Well done. I got to close this freaking tab. God, get that off my computer. I'm not even a
right,
good
John.
painter, and I can paint better than that.
Can't unsee it.
I can't unsee it, and you're correct. That's disappointing. The model's fine. Like, whatever. You don't need to wipe blood off of a power sword. It burns off.
It's fine. The pose is fine. You can paint it however you want. You can, who cares? Angron book. I think
Angron
that's
book.
basic. Yeah, there's an Angron Primarchs because there's that Primarch series.
Yeah, I don't really like those. I read one.
I'm just going to get the horse one. That's it. It'll probably be the last
I feel like
one.
they don't do. I feel like they're phoning it in with those. The Horus
Really?
Heresy ones that focus on the Primarchs, yeah. Like they're constantly pushing back, having to do the Battle for Terra, and like ending the series.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're gonna do like I don't know, 70 or 80 books after the fall of Terra about like everybody getting chased to the Eye of Terror. Like they're going to,
That's
but-
the Great Scouring. Yes.
but they're definitely phoning it in with that the Primarch series. Like they focus on the Primarchs so much in the books now. It's not like it used to be. Like the first 4 or 5, you barely even heard anything from the Primarch perspective.
Right.
And now it's like half the books are the Primarch's perspective. So it's like, why do you need these books that are focused just on them and primarily from their perspective? Like you're just, and they don't even choose their best writers for it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like them. I've read a couple, or I think I might have only read Vulcans. Because everybody knows I like salamanders. Salamander Space Marines are the best Space Marines. There's Twin Legion Melters and Flamers. That guy was the best.
He's your spirit animal.
I hope that guy shows up one day at LVO and he still talks like that as like an adult.
Oh my god.
How great would that be, actually?
It'd be great for you at least.
How great would it be if there was this guy who shows up with the salamander army and he looks like just a 30-year-old version of that 12-year-old kid, and he still speaks with the lisp about his salamander Space Marines being his best Space Marines? That would be awesome. I would love that. I hope he listens to this show.
I'm sure he doesn't.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Because
know.
we don't talk
We
about
go with
salamander
no.
space.
We don't talk about salamanders enough. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to paint a salamander army. I'm going to lure him in.
Oh god.
Like a dude in a truck with a free candies things painted on the side. I guess I would need a van, not a truck, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd make a terrible kidnapper. Like, what would you do? Put the kid in the back of the open bed? See, I'd be bad at this. It's not a good idea.
It depends. Are you not trying to be nice to the kid? And yeah, use it over in the back and just let him
Let him roll around.
make sure it's a covered bed.
I remember riding in the back of my dad's truck. Like
I
if we
did it
didn't
all
have
the
to,
time.
if we didn't have to go that far, why not?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we did that all the time. I did this truck. So with that being said, final thoughts, or actually final hints.
Hints at what?
Not final hints. Oh my god! Final tips
Think, buddy, think.
for cough medicine.
That's what you want to blame. We'll go with it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
It's a thing. Cough medicine's a thing.
Yeah, it's got a lot of alcohol in it.
Sweet, sweet alcohol.
What are you hopped up on, Danny? You got a cold.
Nothing right now.
Damn.
He's
Yeah.
manning up.
He's going Spartan.
Yeah.
Spartan kids in the barrack trying desperately not to let any of the Spartan soldiers know that he has a cold, so they don't throw him out to the wolves.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he cough? Have you seen those memes?
Yeah.
Yes.
The best. Spartan kid has runny eye thrown out to the wolves.
Well, I mean,
That's the best. I love those.
So final advice for LVO:
Lose early, drink more.
lose early, drink more. There
Why
we
not?
go.
Just be sure to buy the judges' drinks while you're doing it.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Come by the judge's table, say hi.
I'll take scotch, whiskey, Red Bull vodka, beer.
John will be at the pub crawl on Saturday.
I will.
Friday.
I'm
after
going to
our
attach
dinner.
myself to Cooper.
Oh God. I have a good Cooper story, but I can't tell on air.
Oh yeah, no, that one cannot be told on air. I don't even think I'd tell that one not on air. I think I would just relive it in my mind and be done with it. I actually have a couple of good Cooper stories.
I know you do. But we even at the end on Friday, Friday we have our judges dinner, but we'll be at the
bar in Bally's,
bar at the Bally's.
in the casino.
I'll be having my buffet every morning at usually around 8 a.m.
At the Paris, right?
7 a.m.
at
Yeah.
the Paris.
Damn right.
I almost made it every time last year, except for Sunday morning because I was
You had to leave.
I was fine. No, it's fine. No, I left.
No, you left Saturday night, didn't you?
Oh, I'm thinking of the year before that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the year before that.
Yeah,
Oh,
the year before
no,
that was
Sunday.
the year you got like you had a bad mix of something.
Yeah. Yeah, I get to stay the whole time this year. Thank God.
Yeah.
Both of you. It'll be a new experience for me having you guys actually be there. But come on by, say hi. Judges table. We at the buffet in the morning usually.
Yep.
See us in our, either our TFG shirts or our judges shirts. We're more than willing to talk when we're not busy making judge calls. We are going to have a quick contest that I just thought up now and didn't tell Danny or John about.
No.
Oh, cool.
No haikus.
No, it's not a haiku.
Sonnets.
So, our local store, Game Empire Pasadena, and I'm naming them because they're donating a night warden for the contest.
Yeah, we will name the stores we play at and stuff when they give us free shit to give away.
There's a reason for that.
If you don't sponsor us, we're not naming you. Like, we talk about Hammerhead Games all the time because they give us stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's
a reason we don't name them
You give us
normally.
Yeah, because they don't give us stuff.
If you talk to me, I'll tell you why. I have no problem telling you why.
That's a good story. That's a story worth asking about if you come visit us at the judge table. Why do we not name the local store very often? We all can tell you a lot about it.
Yes, but John probably has the best stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, no, maybe. I've
got some good ones. I don't know if they're the
early
best,
days.
but they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
They're legit.
But so they donated a Night Titan a warden.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one that comes with everything.
Yeah, so it can be a Crusader, it could be a Warden, it could be a Gallant, it could be a Paladin,
whatever.
it could be Errant.
Everyone remembers.
So a Gallant or a Crusader.
Basically, yes.
A Warden wouldn't be bad, but the Warden is bad when compared to like the fact that you could take the Gallant or the Crusader, but like if you wanted something that could shoot and have assault for whatever reason, okay, it's just not as point efficient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when they up the points, when they eventually up the points of Castellan and
They're not upping the points.
then
They're not doing as well. They're not going to up the points. There's no reason to anymore. They nerfed them enough that there's no reason to.
So we're gonna do the contest. We're gonna do is very simple. It's almost like crap. Oh crap! I can't remember the name now. The name of the show. Danny might remember with Groucho Marx.
Oh, the Marx Brothers.
No, he did a game show.
Oh,
where if you said the secret word.
Oh, right.
No,
Yeah, I'm blanking.
I think it's you.
Pee Wee Herman's Funhouse.
What?
They had the word of the day. You just had the secret word or whatever. Then everything in the fucking house went crazy.
Okay.
Stupid show. God, I hated that show.
God. I actually like that show.
You would. Pee Wee Herman's Funhouse. God, I hate that show.
Yeah, but before he did it, Groucho Marx did it back in the late 50s, early 60s.
Like on Flipper or something?
No, what? Oh my God! I think it's called "You Bet Your Life."
The Andy Griffith Show.
You can please stop talking.
Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, the show was called "You Bet Your Life." You said a secret word and you got like $500 or something like that. So in this case, there's going to be
Wasn't the show where every day the guy walked into his house and he would trip over the ottoman?
Okay, John.
the fact that I know all these shows that you're saying makes me depressed and mad at you.
This is why I keep doing it.
I'm gonna start calling you Tom.
Achievement unlocked.
Seriously, right? All right. We can just wrap the show here. I'm happy. You got a
Yeah,
smile on my face.
I thought you were happy with your rant about the non-metal metal, the McDonald's Marines.
You know what? No, that made me angry. that model made me mad.
But you're never happier than when you're angry.
That's not true. I'm happier when I'm happy.
Oh yeah, 1947 and 1961. So in that when there was a secret word that someone would say, if they said it, they got a prize.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have a word when you're visiting us. If you happen to say the word, we'll write it down before, so you know we're not cheating. We're not trying to cheat you.
Are we discussing what the word's going to be, or are you just doing this unanimously?
We'll discuss after the show.
Well, yeah, we're not going to discuss it live on air. That'd be stupid as hell. I'm just wondering if this is something where you're being dictator Adam, or it's like everybody gets to say.
Well, if you keep it up, then
I prefer to live in Athens than Imperial Rome. Okay,
which lasted longer.
It doesn't matter. Which one was better?
Well, it depends how you define better.
You know what?
True.
This is a discussion for another podcast.
Yeah, it's a whole different podcast for that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, just you may not even realize you're doing it, but we'll give it to you anyway.
Is it just gonna be the first person that says it?
Yeah.
Nice.
But
so some random ass person could walk up, say this phrase, and we just give them a night word, and they don't even know why.
Well, you would have to identify why you're talking to us, I guess.
Okay. We'll probably pick a phrase where if you haven't listened to the show, there's no reason why you would say it.
Right.
Right. Okay.
So. Is it Pimp Mobile?
No.
Is
I
it
would
ass?
not approve that one.
So, any other? Just remember, everybody, to have copies of your list. Remember to please have your codex.
Oh, for God's sakes, yes.
Have your rules. Battle Scribe does not count. If we come to your table and you don't have your codex, I will not give you a warning. I will give you a card because you don't have your shit.
It's true.
This warning I'm giving you now is everybody's warning.
Seems
Everybody's
legit.
on check to have their codex. Have the rule book.
Seems legit.
Mm-hmm.
It says it in the code of conduct. You have to have your stuff with you.
Yes.
I mean, it's not. We did that on purpose.
Yeah. If you plan on requesting a clock, I would get a clock.
Yes.
It's not that
Yes.
expensive.
Yes.
Make sure you have some snacks, water. Water is available at LVO, but you should have your own snacks. Definitely, especially on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
If you there's a good chance you're gonna make it to that fourth game. Anything else, John?
No, I don't think
Dice,
so.
tape measure.
Yeah, I mean, like the
Glue.
basic stuff. The basic stuff for like playing in an event. Like, yeah, bring some dice, but bring extra dice, bring tape measure. Make sure you double check that you have the measuring tape. But even more than that, like, make sure that you stay hydrated. Make sure that you eat enough like snacks in between, because that's a big part of it. Like, people think that it's not a big part of it. Like, oh yeah, you're just playing whatever. You got to actually do that. Like, you have to actually go into it with the mindset of, I need to play well, so I need to take care of myself so I can play well. Wear comfortable shoes. I almost always buy a pair of shoes just for this, and I'm just judging.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna walk a lot more than you, but like for a Bay Area Open, I had like a brand new pair of shoes that I wore because I wanted to be as comfortable as possible. When I went to the LVO the first time, same thing. Like, if I know I'm gonna be standing a lot, I do that because like my heels are always killing me because I have like no padding in them.
Right.
So like I either will buy a heel insert padding, like a gel thing, or I'll buy like the full insert, or I'll just get new shoes. Because like if your feet are uncomfortable, man, that's the worst.
Some
That's
people
just the
buy
worst.
those mats,
Yeah, you can stand on that.
ergonomic mats that you stand on.
You can do that.
If you're gonna stand all day. I've never really used them, so I don't know how effective they are. I mean, like, it must be effective in some way.
It has to be. Yeah, right. At some point.
Yeah. Be sure to check out Forge World will be there. along with a bunch of other vendors.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put a quick shout out for the squad marks.
Oh yeah,
They're going to be there. I got my.
those are super helpful.
Yeah, especially with identifying. If you're going to run a large model army, and you don't want to paint little marks on
Orc
them,
players, Tyranid players,
yeah, or
Silicol players, apparently.
especially.
Guard players with all your catachan nonsense.
Yeah, so I even bought I have a bunch of the 32 and 25 millimeter ones because I have an Imperial Guard army, and then the Space Marine and Chaos stuff. So, but don't forget to we talked about water. Anything else, Danny? Anything you can think of? Anything we haven't touched on in terms of LVO?
No, I think we hit on all the big beats. I mean, I guess the biggest thing is don't be in your bubble. If you go with friends, great, but talk to people, make friends with your opponents, like socialize, because it's pretty cool to be surrounded by people who all share, at the end of the day, a very niche hobby with you.
Yeah,
right, where you can just kind of talk about something that we all clearly enjoy doing, right? So don't let that pass you by.
Yeah, and at this point, it's people from around the world, not just
exactly
the States. So other than that, I look forward to seeing everyone there. Again, come say hi.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe win a night.
Maybe win a night. I can tell you more stories about John and why he's so salty.
I'm not that salty. God, you people are terrible.
Salty about being salty.
No, I'm salty about bad paint jobs on professional websites.
Oh yeah, don't forget if you think you're gonna win best painted, don't forget to have your paint judged.
Yeah, and if you don't stand a chance, don't bother having it judged.
Yeah, please don't waste our time.
Oh wow, okay.
Please.
Well, I mean, Danny, some people want to just at least know where they're at.
Over 700 players. Well, they're not. But see, that's the thing with over 700 players. We don't have like a personalized thing to give back to every player.
Right.
So if you don't stand a chance, don't get judged. Like seriously, come on, guys. If you have a chance at Renaissance Man, or you have a chance at Best Painted.
In any case,
come on. If you sprayed your army gray, and then didn't wash it, and then want to claim that there's 3 levels of gray underneath it, you're not going to win Best Painted. Don't get judged.
For real.
That's all I'm saying.
8:00 in the hall, Friday.
I got nothing from you. Damn, man, it's cold.
Nothing verbally, anyway.
Well, I can't see you, so I'll take it. Whatever.
So get more of this delightful banter at LVO.
It's not banter. I hate you.
Other than that, anything else, Danny? Or
No,
I'm good.
All right.
See you guys in a little bit.
Yeah. With that, good night, everyone, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
All right.